Imagine a king mentioned in the Quran who possessed such unimaginable wealth that merely thinking about it could make one lose their mind. Do you think I'm exaggerating? Imagine this. It took 300 mules just to carry the keys to the rooms where his treasures were stored. Let that sink in. I am talking about King Qaroun. He was destined for such an exemplary end that you will be astonished when you hear what happened to him. The story of his treasure, which dates back 2,500 years, has reached us today and may still send shivers down your spine. Brace yourselves. Part of this treasure was discovered underground by villagers in a region near Izmir. But no one knew that whoever touched this treasure would be followed by misfortune. If you are ready to hear the story of Qaroun, which closely concerns everyone watching, let's begin. Qaroun was the second richest king to ever live. While the first place undoubtedly belongs to Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, considering the time in which Qaroun lived, he was the wealthiest of his era. So much so that, even today, when talking about wealth, we use the expression, as rich as Qaroun. And this comparison is not without reason. Before becoming the richest man in the world, Qaroun was very poor. According to some accounts, he was related to Prophet Musa alayhi salam. Qaroun was very close to Musa alayhi salam. So close that Prophet Musa alayhi salam played a significant role in changing his life. During his impoverished days, Qaroun was also close to Pharaoh and served him. Pharaoh's wealth and possessions dazzled him. One day, Qaroun told Musa alayhi salam that he wanted to become very rich. Please help me. You are close to Allah. Pray so that I may become rich. Prophet Musa alayhi salam was not certain about this request. But Qaroun had stopped working for Pharaoh and no longer oppressed the people under Pharaoh's rule. Qaroun began to stay close to Musa alayhi salam, showing faith and obedience to his words. Once again, he pleaded, "Help me become wealthy, please. I will use my earnings for good deeds and charity," he promised. Finally, he managed to obtain the prayer of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. As a result, Allah taught him the knowledge of alchemy through the prayer of Musa. Thus he learned the science of acquiring gold, diamonds, rubies, and other precious jewels. He rapidly amassed wealth and added fortune to fortune. By the age of 35, he had become the king of his land. Everyone spoke about him. In a short time, he became so wealthy that he even brought many surrounding kingdoms under his rule. His life was one of extravagance. From the trappings of his horses to his chariots, even his clothing was adorned with gold, emeralds, and various jewels. He gradually became a tyrant king who valued only what belonged to him. The promises he had made to Prophet Musa alayhi salam were long forgotten. His entire being was obsessed with his treasure. At night, while everyone else was asleep, he would walk through his treasure chambers, admiring his gold and jewels. The sound of his footsteps on the gold was the sweetest melody to his ears. There were so many treasure rooms and chests that it took 300 mules to carry all the keys. The human mind cannot even grasp the scale of such a treasure. Qaroun, who had once been a poor and insignificant servant in Pharaoh's eyes, had now become one of Pharaoh's favorite and closest confidants. And Qaroun had become almost an enemy to Musa alayhi salam. He spent all his time with his gold and Pharaoh. Prophet Musa alayhi salam warned him repeatedly, "Do not put so much trust in your possessions and wealth. Allah, who has given you everything, can take it all back in an instant." But Qaroun would not listen to Musa. "What do you mean Allah gave it? I earned all this wealth and property with my own knowledge and efforts. I did it," he said. The Quran states, "Qaroun was from the people of Musa, but he oppressed them. We gave him such treasures that their keys would have been burdensome to a group of strong men. His people said to him, 'Do not exult, for Allah does not like the exultant.'" Prophet Musa alayhi salam asked him to give the zakat from his wealth, that is, to share a certain portion of it with those in need. This was the final straw for Qaroun. He decided that he needed to get rid of Musa alayhi salam. He devised a plan to discredit Musa and drive the believers away from him. He immediately went to Pharaoh and explained his idea to get rid of Musa. The plan was to convince one of the most infamous courtesans of Egypt to accuse Musa of immorality. Pharaoh knew of a woman who would do anything for money. According to the plan, during the festival when the entire populace would be gathered in the square, the woman would accuse Musa publicly of adultery. Qaroun found her and explained the plan to her. In exchange for her false testimony, he promised to reward her with her weight in gold. "This is an easy job for me," she said, and accepted King Qaroun's offer. When the day of the festival arrived, the whole city gathered in the square, which was filled with a festive atmosphere. Pharaoh had invited Prophet Musa alayhi salam to the event. Musa, unaware of what was about to happen, accepted the invitation and appeared in the square that day. Everyone was ready to execute the plan. Pharaoh, with great excitement, called Musa alayhi salam to the center of the square, where everyone could see. "Welcome, Musa," he said. "I have a question for you. In your religion, is adultery forbidden?" Prophet Musa answered without hesitation. "Yes, it is absolutely forbidden," he said. "And if it were you, Musa, would it still be forbidden?" he asked. Musa alayhi salam responded firmly, "Yes, of course it is forbidden, without any doubt." Upon hearing these words, Pharaoh called out to the woman waiting behind, "Come here and tell us what happened, so that everyone will know." "Tell them, let everyone hear that you and Musa committed adultery," he ordered. The woman stepped forward, but Prophet Musa alayhi salam did not even look at her. He raised his staff towards the sky and spoke with a loud voice, "O woman, speak the truth. Say only what is true. Did I commit adultery with you?" All eyes and ears were on the woman. Qaroun and Pharaoh awaited her response with great anticipation and delight. However, at that moment, something unexpected happened. The woman, who was known for being willing to do anything for money, and who thought this would be an easy task, completely changed when she saw Prophet Musa alayhi salam. She swallowed, took a deep breath, and said, "By Allah, I swear that you did not commit adultery with me, Musa." Hearing this, Qaroun and Pharaoh were left in shock. The people, who were witnesses to this scene, began shouting. They were now all on the side of Prophet Musa. This event marked the beginning of the end for Qaroun. Prophet Musa alayhi salam then commanded the ground to swallow Qaroun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered the earth to listen to Musa, and before everyone's eyes, a miracle unfolded. The earth began to split. First, it swallowed all of Qaroun's treasures, and then it began to take Qaroun himself. He sank into the ground up to his neck and, in desperation, stretched out his hand, begging, "Please, Musa, save me, forgive me." But Musa alayhi salam did not listen to him. Thus the world's wealthiest and most miserly king was swallowed up by the earth, along with his priceless treasure, disappearing from sight. In Surah Al-Qasas 28:81-82, it is said, "So we caused the earth to swallow him and his home, and he had no company to help him against Allah, nor was he of those who could defend themselves." And those who had desired his position the day before began to say, "Oh, how Allah extends provision to whom He wills of His servants and restricts it. If not for the favor of Allah upon us, He would have caused it to swallow us as well. Oh, how the disbelievers do not succeed." There are many lessons to learn from the story of Qaroun. Do not hesitate to share your wealth and give zakat, even if it is a small portion, to those in need. But what happened to King Qaroun's legendary treasure? Thousands of years later, An astonishing discovery was made in Izmir. Near the Ushak road, a man with a treasure map brought 5 villagers with him and had them dig the specified spot. They discovered a tomb containing 520 pieces of jewelry, remnants of the treasure of King Qaroun, which had belonged to a princess. However, this was only a tiny part of the massive treasure that had sunk into the ground 2,500 years earlier. The villagers, unaware of the legend surrounding the curse of this treasure, sold their find for only 78,000 Turkish lira of that time and rejoiced at their profit. However, they did not realize that the curse of Qaroun would follow them. One by one they met. Strange fates. Some were crushed by tractors, others became blind, and some lost their minds. Even those involved in smuggling the treasure to America faced similar fates, dying one by one. Years later, the collection known as Qaroun's treasure, on display at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, drew attention, and Turkish authorities realized it had been smuggled out of the country. After many years of legal battles and $40 million in expenses, Turkey managed to reclaim the treasure. Today, a small part of this treasure is displayed at the Ushak Museum. However, it was discovered years later that the most important piece, a winged seahorse, had been replaced with a counterfeit despite the security measures. Eventually, the original piece was found in Germany and returned to the Ushak Museum. If you ever visit Ushak, do not forget to see Qaroun's treasure. But just to be safe, do not get too close. Just a word of caution. As for the main part of the treasure that was buried, it is said in legends that it will only be revealed when Al-Mahdi appears and distributes it to those in need. As Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Love for worldly possessions is a veil between a person and Allah. It is up to us to lift that veil." Of course, we should benefit from the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. But remember that as long as you have wealth, everyone will be your friend. When you have nothing left, even your friends may become your enemies. So at the end of the day, it's always wise to remember, this world is as empty as the stomach of an African child.